This is Fox 5 News at 6, local Las Vegas.
Powerful winds are ripping through the valley right now. High wind warning is in effect through 11 o'clock tonight.
You're looking at some videos of the dust storm. The dust storm warning in effect until 11 o'clock tonight. You can hardly see the mountains in the Las Vegas Strip because of all that wind and dust.
Check this out. A block of power lines snapped like toothpicks. This is happening on Koval and Harmon, where Topgolf is.
About a few hours, more than 40,000 people were without power. Right now, the latest count, 44,600 customers without power.
We have team coverage of all this wild wind. Our Fox 5 crew is covering the damage across the valley. The power lines down. More than one semi-truck has rolled over. One of it is on the I-15, and that is creating a traffic backup.
Yeah. Let's start with Chief Meteorologist Ted Priddy. The power lines are down on Koval and Harmon, and he's monitoring that situation for us.
Yeah, let's take a look at the power lines. I counted about 10 power lines, all of them wood power lines that were snapped pretty much in half by a couple of those with the wind. And then, of course, that just adds to the load and the stress of the rest, and presumably falling like dominoes from Koval Street, on Koval Street, from Tropicana or from Harmon to the south, all the way up north to Flamingo. This section of road is shut down. Not only that, but also bringing up a pretty precarious situation north and south of here in those intersections, because you have power lines that are still intact, some of them made of wood. All the metal ones are still standing. Some of them made of wood, though, that are still intact. But you could imagine 10 power lines on a city block that are down. That's just got to add to the stress and the amount of weight on some of those power structures that are still intact on each side of Koval, at least in this section right here. To make matters worse, of course, power lines. So you're talking about some power outages, most notably the areas surrounding here, the hotels, timeshares, apartments that no longer do have power, and also the intersections. Now, Metro has done a great job of directing traffic in some of these, but other intersections, most notably Paradise and also Tropicana, that do not have Metro negotiating traffic there for the folks. It is treated as a four-way stop. So needless to say, it is slow going anywhere around this section of roadway and surrounding areas because of the intersections without power. Also, it's an issue for pedestrians. Up and down Koval is a very popular place, not only for casino workers who actually live in some of these apartments, but also for a lot of tourists who decide to stay here because it's just a walking distance to the Strip, and you don't have to pay Strip prices to stay here in the hotels and also the timeshares. So that brings a problem also with some of the pedestrians trying to cross these streets but can't, because of not only the down power lines, but also because of the power lines I mentioned before that were still intact, that are in a little bit of a precarious situation here, carrying extra weight. If you take a look all the way down the street, my photographer Kurt here is going to show you towards the intersection of Koval and also down there towards Harmon. Some of the cars that were in this roadway when these power lines did fall are still sitting there. Nobody was hurt, but some of the cars are still there because they simply can't move. You have power lines pretty much surrounding the vehicle. Some of them that were at least at one time presumably hot or live that are on the ground right there. So nobody was hurt, but still some cars here that are stranded basically until NV Energy, and they are working on the power lines here, can get these power structures at least in some kind of maybe a situation that they could restore power for these, but just kind of a tentative situation here where power is up and these power lines are off the ground here. But you can imagine if you have 10 power lines and a full city block between Flamingo and Harmon on Koval here with power lines shut down, snapped in half, laying on the ground, it's going to take a while for power to be restored and these power lines to be restored as well. Back to you guys.
Imagine those people trying just to get home on a Thursday afternoon, and those power lines just come right and trap their car right there. What a nightmare for those poor people. Ted, thank you.
And we're following breaking news inside the Monte Carlo Hotel and Casino.
Part of a wall near the food court has collapsed. We've spoken to MGM. They tell us this was from a strong gust of wind that knocked over the wall that was under construction. We have confirmed that one person did receive minor injuries. And take a look at this. The Main Street station sign collapsed and twisted. You can see it leaning right now again from the strong winds today.
More damage to casinos. Look at this at the Palms. You can see something coming off the top of the casino's roof and some shattered windows there. Eric Mizrachi sent out a tweet, and he's a professional poker player. Fox 5 learned the damage happened on the roof of Fantasy Tower. No one was in the room when it happened. Station casinos tell us they're starting to clean up the damage now. Well, we're continuing our team coverage of these powerful and damaging winds.
A number of trees have come down. One of them is at Eastern and Cairn, and that's where Fox 5's Faith Tanner is now with that for us. And that is something to see, Faith.
Yeah, John and Christine, it seems the winds have died down a bit here in this neighborhood off of Eastern and Cairn, but now we're really starting to get more of a look at some of this incredible damage. Take a look at this huge tree that is completely blocking off a street in this neighborhood. It is just massive, and you can really see how powerful this storm, this windstorm, this debris was just by looking at how tall and how huge this tree is. You know, standing next to it, it towers over my head. We've had neighbors coming out here taking pictures just to get a look at this because it is such a sight. And really the most incredible thing about this is if you go over here and you can see the roots from this tree are up, and it actually took out part of the pavement. You know, I've covered tornadoes in the Midwest before, but I have never seen chunks of pavement being torn up like this. The homeowner says this happened around 4 o'clock during these powerful winds. He's just thankful his house is okay, no one was hurt, his vehicle was okay. There's also a neighbor on the other side, and their vehicle is completely trapped in by this tree. There are also other trees down around this neighborhood, but again, the good news is nobody got hurt. Reporting live, Faith Tanner, Fox 5 News, local, Las Vegas.
Faith, thank you.
The Nevada Highway Patrol tells us at least 4 semis have rolled over because of the high winds.
Fox 5's Abby Tedros is live at the scene of one that rolled over on the I-15 in St. Rose. She's live for us on our Fox 5 Facebook page where she's been watching this, and it's still on its side, Abby.
Yeah, it is. Well, the good news is there's been some progress. The tractor trailer that's overturned underneath the highway or underneath the overpass, that one has been towed away, and I-15 is moving clearly and smoothly. This one, you can see there are 2 tow trucks here. It's going to take 2 tow trucks to haul this semi away, and we're expecting that to happen in the coming hour or so. As you mentioned, there was another tractor trailer near the Interstate 215 and the airport connector that was also overturned. So these wind gusts are no joke. This particular tractor trailer, I talked to the driver of the truck. He told me that his truck was empty. He had just finished a cross-country trip dropping off different goods, and he was going eastbound on St. Rose Parkway when his truck just, blew over. There was a strong wind gust, and it just toppled over. Thankfully, he is okay. He had a couple of scrapes and bruises to his elbow, but other than that, he's doing just fine. I did ask him if he wanted to do an interview. He wasn't really comfortable with that because he was shaken up still. Oh, you're getting a look at this semi-truck being pulled over back on its right side up. And it's taking 2 tow trucks. I don't know if you can see them from where I'm standing right now. Taking 2 tow trucks to pull it back up, right side up. And here we go. It's going to big thump there. Can't imagine how much that weighs. Empty truck, but obviously a lot going on, taking a lot of manpower to clear this out of the highway. Guys?
Abby, and thanks so much for providing that live look for us. And yeah, they got it righted, so that is definitely good news, so that now they'll be able to carry it away. And it's actually also good news, if we can keep that picture up so we can continue to watch while we talk. Also good news, whenever there is a semi-truck that overturns, if there is a load in there, that truck company has to send another truck over to empty it box by box to load it onto a new truck and get that truck on its way before they can even start cleaning it up. So it's actually advantageous for drivers. It was empty.
Yeah, that was playing out at St. Rose near the I-15. There's another overturned semi just right by that overpass, St. Rose overpass on the I-15. And as Abby mentioned, there's a third one still at the 215 and the airport connector. So slowly but surely they are righting things on that front.
And now let's continue our live team coverage. Let's check in with Fox 5's Miguel Martinez-Valle, who's live for us.
John, Christine, something that might take a little bit to clean up as well is this tree. So it's not a semi, but it's might be bigger than a semi, or at least the size of one. So I'm up on the tree right now. Let me get down. It's blocking Pecos near Twain, and just take a look at the roots. So it's completely uprooted, and just the roots from where they start, it's like twice my size. A lot of people in the area say that this tree has been here for 100 years, maybe more, so they were kind of sad to see it topple over, but they're happy that didn't land on anyone's house, because there are homes on the other side of the street, so they're happy it didn't hit anyone, it didn't hit any cars, and it didn't land on anyone's house. But it is blocking 2 lanes of road, so drivers have had to go around the tree. A lot of people stopping and taking pictures, and if you are driving around, or if you know anyone that's driving around, and if you're going to take picture of the damage, just make sure that you park your car safely on the side of the street, because I've seen some people that are driving and trying to take pictures at the same time, and there's already enough damage going around the city. There's already enough happening. We don't need unsafe drivers out there adding to the chaos that's out here because of these high winds. So yeah, this tree, it's definitely going to take some time to clean up, and it's, again, Pecos and Twain, so if you're driving in this direction, make sure that you're on the lookout. You can't miss it, but be safe when you're driving. Reporting live, Miguel Martinez Valle, Fox 5 News, local, Las Vegas.
Fortunately, it fell onto the road and not into a house.
Yes. All right. Even though we have heard reports of that happening around the valley as well. Miguel, thanks.
Well, the high wind warning and a dust warning is now in effect until 11 o'clock tonight.
Let's check in with Fox 5 meteorologist Sam Argier tracking the wind.
Christine, John, still not out of the woods with this storm yet. I've been watching the wind speeds go down a little bit, but still a lot of debris out there. You can see that from our crews out in the field. And I want to show you these peak wind gusts, because hurricanes and tropical storms get so much attention because they affect so many people across the tropics and across the eastern part of the United States. But this storm brought hurricane force wind gusts in some of the area. Red Rock Canyon gusting to 82, 74 and above is hurricane force wind speeds. Certainly we saw that around North Las Vegas. Near that, it's 70-mile-per-hour gusts. Nellis, Henderson, Southern Highlands, Summerlin, all seeing gusts at 60+. And officially at McCarran Airport, a gust of 59. That's the strongest wind gust in more than 5 years. It's been a while since we've seen a windstorm like this. Here's some of the damage. Mojave High School, a metal pole into a windshield. This is why, if you don't have to be out tonight, it's a good idea to hunker down. Sign blown down at Sahara and I-15, the Bonanza gift shop. Coming up, we'll talk about how much wind we deal with tomorrow, because the wind, we're not done with it yet. And we'll also talk about rain chances from this storm as well. It's all coming up in about 5 minutes with your Fox 5 7-day forecast. John and Christine?
Sam, thanks.
All right, well, we showed you a tree that was down on a road, but now we're going to show you how a big tree has been knocked over into a house on Hualapai and Sahara.
Let's go to Fox 5's Kathleen Jacob to show us.
As tall as me, if you look at it right now. We were actually just moved a little bit to the side of this, because crews that are cleaning it up right now are worried that if a gust does pick this up, it could have blown on top of us. You can see that this tree has already knocked down the wall. It's caused damage to the roof, so they're quickly getting to it, trying to clean it up. But just look how enormous this tree is. It is unbelievable that can be just picked up by these gusts of wind all the way from the roof. So pretty incredible. Now, of course, we'll keep an eye on this. Like I said, they are cleaning it up right now, so I don't know how much longer crews are going to be out here, but for now, I will send it back to you guys. Kathleen Jacob, Fox 5 News, local Las Vegas.
You hear that chainsaw behind Kathleen?
The cleanup's already begun.
That is going to be a familiar sound around the valley here in the next few days. Well, all this wind is affecting flights at McCarran International Airport as well. Yeah, some flights were delayed up to an hour and a half today at the peak of this windstorm. McCarran officials asked travelers to check with their airline for the most up-to-date information. And we'll continue our coverage in a moment. We'll be right back. The winds today have done a lot of damage, knocking down a lot of trees, as well as a tree near a house on Hualapai and Sahara. Let's check in with Kathleen Jacob live on the scene, where crews have been trying to clean it up already. Kathleen.
Yeah, Christine, John, take a look at this tree. Look how big these roots are. It was pulled up right from the roots. And now I talked to the homeowner just a little bit ago, and he said he was watching as this tree was swaying back and forth kind of near the windows, warned other people in his house to maybe step away from the windows. No one really believed him that it was going to fall down. And sure enough, 10 seconds later, he said it came crashing down. You can see that damage that it did to the wall. Thankfully, not too much damage on the house. They do have a couple tiles on the roof that are off, But for the most part, this really just hit the wall, really missing the main part of damage for them. But it is just incredible, the gusts of wind that could pick up a tree this size, this enormous, and pull it into a home like this. It really is unbelievable, and I think everyone's kind of surprised. We've seen a lot of cars drive by and stop just to take pictures of how crazy this wind is, and we are still feeling it out here. So, of course, crews right now, as you can see, are cleaning it up. They got right on it, but they're going to be out here for a while, and I'm sure they're going to be out around the entire valley for a while, for the next few days, because there's damage all over like this. Just incredible damage. But we'll keep an eye on this and get back to you guys whenever we know more. For now, I'll send it back to you guys.
Wow. They're out there. And as you mentioned earlier, that's going to be a familiar sound in the valley. The sound of buzzsaws going.
Yes,
chopping up all
over.
those trees.
Great video. Thank you, Kathleen, and glad no one was hurt in that instance.
And speaking of the winds, we are continuing to follow the damage that they're causing around the valley.
Now look at this windshield shattered when a sign went through it. Oh my gosh. And you can see a 7-Eleven damaged in the winds.
Send us your pictures on social media. Use our hashtag VegasWin.
Today.
Look at this little guy struggling. You can sympathize with that. It's been all of us today trying to get through these winds.
And look at the limited visibility out there, because it's kicking up all this dust. So not only the wind, but down trees that we've seen all over, damage to cars, overturned tractor trailers.
Down power lines, 44,000 people without power, but crews are out right now trying to right all the damage. Don't forget to send us your pictures on social media and use our hashtag VegasWin.
And we'll continue to monitor all the developments, and we'll see you at 10.